when the directors of one of your favorite movies of all time finally makes another movie. Of course I'm going to go run out to go see it. I don't even care if it gets like a somewhat wide release, but not a really wide release. I'm going. I'm there. I'm buying my ticket. Hey there, guys. What's up? What's going on? It is Autobot Mike 18 here, back with another movie review. Guys, I didn't even know about this movie until like a week or 2 or 3 ago. That's insane. And it's from one of my favorite. It's from the director who made one of my favorite movies of all time. There, enough said. Of course I was pumped for this movie. Guys, in this video, I am going to be reviewing The Neon Demon. That's right. Some of you have probably heard of this movie. About 85% of you, the rest of you, have not heard of this movie. And any audience members who want, you know, if you need everything explained to you in a movie, and if you don't want something different, don't see this. Anyway, guys, yes, I was definitely excited for The Neon Demon. For one reason alone. I like the trailers, don't get me wrong, but, yeah. There you go, that's why. Yes, guys, The Neon Demon is directed by Nicolas Winding Refn. I say Winding, some people say Winding. Nicolas Winding Refn. There you go. Nicolas Winding Refn directed The Neon Demon, and he also directed one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Drive. As a matter of fact, whenever people ask me, Mike, what's your favorite movie of all time? First off, I don't like that question because I hate picking favorites. Second off, 90% of the time I always end up saying Drive. I'll get into Drive later, not too much. This isn't a review for Drive. This is a review for his newest film, The Neon Demon. Now, he has made films before this movie, Refn, before Drive even, a lot of which I haven't seen. I've only now seen this in Drive. And he did make a movie in between, which is why what I said in the beginning isn't 100% accurate. I never saw Only God Forgives. I just haven't seen it yet. My fault. I will get on that, especially after having watched this movie. So guys, let's get into the main plot. Of course, without spoilers, don't worry. I do never spoil on this channel, so you are safe with me. Main premise of this movie, we focus in the modern day on a young teenage girl. I do not want to give away her age because it's a minor spoiler, I think, for the first half hour of the movie. But The Neon Demon, we focus on a young girl named Jessie, and she is played by Elle Fanning in this movie. She is a former high school student, and she is on... she moves to LA to start a career in modeling. She's an aspiring model. She wants to really make it big in LA, and she really wants to make a name for herself, even though she's definitely skeptical at the same time of landing a modeling agency, and specifically in things and factors involving her age and everything. So when she arrives in LA, she meets with a modeling agency, and she ends up meeting 3 other girls who are involved in this world of modeling and fashion and everything. One girl is a makeup artist, you know, she does makeup, and she's played by Jenna Malone, and 2 other girls are actual models, and they're a slight tad bit older than Elle Fanning's character in this movie, and she meets with them, and things seem to be going well, hopefully, until things hit a snag, and LA isn't like she thought it was, and it's never going to be the same again. Guys, that is all I'm going to say about The Neon Demon. I really just talked about the setup of the movie and what happens in the first, like, 10 minutes, essentially. That's all I want to give away regarding this film. I don't want to say another word about it other than a few things I'll get into with the themes, of course, without spoiling anything. So, before I get more into The Neon Demon, I want to put that aside for a second and it needs to be done. If I had a poster of this movie on my wall, if I could have one, I would. Guys, Drive. I've said enough about this movie. I've never reviewed it, but it's one of my favorites of all time. It's one of those movies I feel is absolutely perfect. It has a particular tone and style, and I think Refn nailed it. It's one of the most gorgeous looking movies ever. It has some of the best cinematography ever put on film. There you go. There you have it. For those reasons, I was looking forward to seeing what Refn could do with The Neon Demon. And this movie looked absolutely not even remotely like Drive. Because I remember one of the biggest complaints people had with Drive going into this movie is that it's not what they expected. They expected nothing but car chases and gun shootout scenes, and they got a really quiet character study drama, essentially. And that is what Drive is. The Neon Demon is a movie, watching the trailer, you're like, okay, that's an even smaller, more art house film than Drive even is. So if you didn't like Drive, you're not going to like this movie. So steer away at all costs. I did like Drive, so I wanted to like this movie. And did I like the Neon Demon? Yes, I did. Despite all the reviews out there, holy crap, the reviews, the critics are bashing this movie with like a 40-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think this movie was booed at the Cannes Film Festival, which is just absurd, and I hate when people boo at things, because that's just like, why do you do that? If you don't like the movie, don't boo at it. And I'm not just saying that because I love Refn and Drive, I do, but I'm not just don't do that. They did the same thing with The Wolf of Wall Street. Don't boo movies, that's not right. Neon Demon, though, I really enjoyed this movie. I was 100% captivated and engrossed into this movie. Do I think it's a perfect movie like Drive is? No, I don't. But I think I will like it more after I watch it again. Because honestly, right now, that's one of my only problems with this movie. Is that I need to watch it again and I need to fully comprehend every single thing that Refn is trying to say. Because this is that type of independent art house film where it's so particular and it has several particular things that it's trying to say and get across, and with the imagery we see on screen, it's definitely that type of movie where you're like, okay, I kind of get where he's going with it, I kind of get what he's trying to say to his audience, but I'm not 100% sure. I gotta watch that again. This is absolutely on my list of movies you need to see twice, and since I've only seen it once, it's still very fresh in my head. So I want to warn and caution you guys with this review. This isn't going to be my absolute best review, because I'm going to try to review a movie I don't 100% comprehend and understand yet. The same thing happened to me last summer with 2001: A Space Odyssey. I had seen that movie for the first time, and I actually chose not to review that movie because I didn't understand everything that the movie was trying to say. I am reviewing Neon Demon now, and I kind of almost feel the same way with this movie now, and I want to review it because it's new and I want to get a review to you guys. So I will probably revisit this movie. I will definitely revisit this movie. Not in the theaters, but at another time, so I just want to preface you guys with that. However, as I said, that's one of my only beefs I had with this movie. I had one other minor nitpick. Other than that, I was completely engaged and absorbed into everything I got with this movie. First thing I want to start talking about is the tone of the Neon Demon. And that is, like I said with Drive, Refn established a particular, like, he gave us like a sort of like a mysterious like tone throughout the entire movie, trying to figure out who the driver is, what his journey is as a character, what he wants. I don't want to keep bringing up Drive, but I'm comparing because I'm comparing because I feel that Refn is a director who knows how to capture a particular tone and keep that consistent throughout most of the entire movie. And I feel that way for Neon Demon for about most of it. The movie kind of lost me a bit because I wasn't sure where it was going. It went from like very dark and dirty and disgusting, that feeling, and I loved it as I was watching it, to like way over the top and like damn near horrific for the final like 20 minutes, and I was like, what the hell am I watching right now? Where did this movie just go to? Like, what place did it just take me to? But I think Refn set a particular like sophisticated like tone for this movie, and he did for the most part keep it consistent for, I would say, slightly more than 2/3 of the entire movie, and I have to absolutely praise him for that, because the whole movie I have this like sense of dread in me, like something is going to go wrong. Things are going to just get worse and worse for our main character, who's so aspiring to just be big and be a well-known person. And so many themes come into play concerning beauty and appearance and age, and I just love, for the most part, that from everything I currently understand about this movie, what Refn was trying to say about essentially, he was just going over the top, overboard on how it is in the fashion industry, how it is to be a model. And he just, it was like, it's like, what do you call it in literature? It's like a giant hyperbole for how it is to live in the fashion world. And it's like, it's heavily exaggerated, of course, in the end of the movie. Things get ridiculous, things get absurd, definitely get absurd at the end of this movie. But I love what he was trying to say with it, from what I know so far and what I've figured out and analyzed myself so far on one viewing. The next thing I absolutely must discuss concerning this movie, because it's the best thing going for it, and I kid you not, I want people to talk about this component of this movie. I don't care how you feel about this movie's story and how you feel what it does with its characters and where it goes in the end. You need to acknowledge the greatness that is the cinematography in this movie. I thought the cinematography in Drive looked good. Holy crap, it looks amazing in The Neon Demon. I was stunned at more than half of the shots that Refn presented to me on screen. Like, everything was working so well. It wasn't just like the shots themselves. It was the lighting, the colors, the composition of shots, the blocking, the placement of actors in the frame to establish who has power and who is like trapped. His angular compositions and everything, which I know means something. I just need to rewatch it. I was blown away. I was blown away, guys, by the lighting in this movie. The first shot alone, I'm sitting there and I'm like transfixed. I'm like, I can't take my eyes off the screen. And I, for the most part, could not take my eyes off of the screen because of how gorgeous this movie was, what the frame shows, what it decides not to show, camera movements themselves. Whoever shot this movie, I know who shot it, and I want to give this person a major shout out because I think this is a major accomplishment for this one person, and specifically for a certain group of people within the film industry. I'm going to say this much. The DP of this movie, the person who shot this movie, is a female. I want to get her name right now. I had it on my phone. I was looking at it before the review. I know it's Natasha Brer. She is a female, and she shot this movie, and Mother of God, it looks incredible and only adds to that tone and style that Refn is going for, and further brings about that tone and style, and I was so blown away by it. But I'm giving her a shout out because when was the last time you guys saw a movie that was a very well-known Hollywood film that was shot by a woman? It almost never happens. It's close to non-existent. We are living in a film industry that is nearly entirely dominated by male DPs, and I'm saying this because this was an amazing achievement. She needs to be recognized for her work in this movie. She needs to get other films to work on, and we need to have other female DPs working in Hollywood right now because, quite frankly, she killed it, and she created a look for the most visually arresting and stunning movie I have seen so far in 2016. Excellent work, Natasha. You killed it, and the look of the movie that you added, that Refn directed you and you collaborated with him on, is gorgeous. And as a person who wants to be in the film industry, as a person who's worked on movies, the number one thing that I have done working in my personal life on movies is that I've worked on other films I've done lighting. And I absolutely struggle to get perfect lighting. And when I do, when I understand it, it's so worth it and it pays off so well. I try to understand it. I try to evoke like a certain tone with lighting. I do. And she absolutely nailed it with what she did with this movie, what the crew did with this movie. And for just that reason alone, I was just so absorbed and just sucked into this movie from beginning to end. I think the cast is great, so just major props to this, how gorgeous this movie looks. Holy crap, it looks amazing. Major props to the cast. I think Elle Fanning did a great job. I bought this like very like almost like scared like role, like I'm so and I absolutely saw a transformation in her. Like I'm so unsure of how things are going to go in this industry. And just to see her slowly transform throughout this movie, it absolutely paid off. She was excellent. Jenna Malone is great. I do feel that Keanu Reeves is slightly underused. I'll talk about him a little bit in the end. And Christina Hendricks was also a little underused. I'll talk about them in the end, though. So that all worked so well. Cliff Martinez, who scored Drive, came back to score this. thank the Lord, because the score is brilliant, and the film, the way it was shot, the camera work and everything is perfectly executed. The pacing is great. The cuts work so well. Every time I was sitting there waiting for a cut to a reaction shot or something, I got just that, and I was like, yeah, the cuts in this movie are fantastic. Guys, everything works so well with the Neon Demon. The only problems I had with this movie, and the only reason why I'm not going high, as I said, I'm trying to still analyze things with it, but apart from that, I do feel that Keanu Reeves' character, they tried to give him more of a presence in the film, and I felt that they either needed less of him or more of him, because I was left wanting more of him, actually. And I think they gave him enough scenes to the point where I was like, okay, I want to see where they're going to go next with his character. And then his character just kind of fizzles out, and he's like not there. And the other part of me was wondering on part of the casting director, what if they did never casted Keanu in this movie? It could have anyone could have literally played his role. I don't know why they casted him, what they were going for with that, but that's just me. Same with Christina Hendricks. She has like 1 or 2 scenes, and that's really it. And my other beef with characters in terms, and this really ties into the script. For the most part, the dialogue is really, really good, and I'm really intrigued, and I'm into the conversations these characters are having. But my only other problem is that towards the end of the film, there is sort of a shift in perspective of the story. It shifts from characters, without spoiling anything. And the characters that it shifts to, I felt we needed more of. I wanted another scene or two. I mean, I got the beats that were in the movie were working of just overall the supporting characters in this movie, but I wanted another scene or two with maybe just those characters, like just them and nobody else, not our main characters, and I would have been even more into the ending in this movie than I think I was. So that there you have it with that. But again, my number one problem with this movie is that it is very artsy. It does have a lot to say, and I don't necessarily understand it all completely yet because I've only seen the movie once, and it is one of those movies you do need to see more than once to really get a firm grasp on everything that the filmmaker is trying to say. Because of that, I am not going to go super high with my rating for the Neon Demon. I'm going to go at a nice like little neutral grade right now, to give me elbow room to either to watch it again and say, wow, I loved it even more, I'm going to go higher with my grade. Or to say, no, I didn't care for the movie, I'm going to stick with this grade. So right now, guys, I'm going to give the Neon Demon a solid grade of an 8.5 out of 10 or a grade of a B. I enjoyed this movie. I was 100% invested into it, and I was sucked in, and it didn't let me out to the very end of the movie with the gorgeous looking credits. And I was totally invested into it. The only thing with it, my problem with it, is that it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to sit there and say, I need to figure out what this means, what Refn was trying to say with this, what's he trying to say with this shot, with this scene, why is that there? There's obviously a purpose, but what is that purpose? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now, and that's why I didn't go as high with my Neon Demon rating. I do, however, highly recommend this movie for everything that I mentioned that I loved about it, from cinematography to lighting to colors to just gorgeous colored purple, red, neon lights. It's so awesome. The score, the performances, the camera work, everything from that aspect is perfect. And I honestly cannot wait to see this movie again to analyze it even further, because I know it was trying to say so much about modeling and just the fashion world in general, and how we look at other people and how we look at the age of people. It's so much to take in, and I feel like I'm getting there even more and more the more I think about it. And that's just why I love this movie so much, because it got me to think. It got me to use my brain and say, this is what he's trying to say. This is what this means. This is like the theme of the movie, and I just love that. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed my review. I know it's not like a complete review almost, but I hope it is for most of you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave me your thoughts. If you've managed to see the Neon Demon, definitely go out and see it. Leave me your thoughts on the movie down below in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed it if you did see it. Thanks as always so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye, guys.